Last time on Square Roots, it's a wonderful life for our hero as he explores a world where he was never born, give or take 9 years, and meets a Cockney thief, a voodoo doll, and a man in a fursuit pretending to be a dog. Meanwhile, a mysterious panther is condemned for the crimes of its nature. If you can't stand the heat, stay out of the jungle, Surge!
Hey everyone, and welcome to Square Roots, the classic RPG podcast. My name is Jim Banks. I am joined by Matthew Van Zandt.
Heyo, it's me, Matthew Van Zandt, and I'm joined by
Brandon. John Mojo Brandon.
Can I be Pip, please?
No, I want to be Pip.
I'll be for sure. Oh,
for sure. Let's help
Pip.
George.
Hey.
And as we've all but established, Vanessa is here as well.
Hello.
Jim. I think that we don't usually do this, and we all understand that life happens. But explain yourself and your absence last week on the first episode of Chrono, the game you have demanded we play since the day this podcast was formed.
Listen, we were recording on a night that we don't usually record on. I made plans that night, and then when John suggested it, I forgot about my plans and said it was fine. And then the day of the plans, I remembered the plans, so I had to change.
None of that's true.
And that's the story of how I missed the first episode of Chrono Cross.
Well, I can't be mad about that, because if there's one thing I know, it's when it's 1955 and a boy asks you to the prom, you either have to accept his invitation or decline it. But if you accept it and then another better offer comes along, you cannot break off your previous word.
What are you talking about?
Look, if you don't think that Jimmy the Jock is going to ask you to prom, so you say yes to Ned the Nerd, you can't blow off Ned when Jimmy finally comes through.
I thought you were doing a Back to the Future thing for a minute.
Is she not?
I don't think
I'm
so.
with you until the last part of it.
There's no enchantment under the sea dance or anything.
There's also no time travel?
Yeah. You know where there is time travel, though? Chrono Cross. Yay.
Hey,
that's what we're doing. Hey, I never said what we do. We're a podcast that plays and talks about your favorite classic RPGs, like Chrono Cross, which, by the way, is a pretty good game. Plot notwithstanding, I'm enjoying playing it.
yeah, the plot being pretty unintelligible and generic is not great, but the game itself is actually pretty okay.
Yeah, it's weird. It's a weird plot.
I mean, as I said last week, it seems like it's going to be doing a sliders thing, which I'm not necessarily I'm here for sliders. I can do some sliders.
We
but
all
there's
turn
also
up
like
for
a Panther
sliders.
Man.
It's weird that you went to sliders when we just talked about Back to the Future.
Well, he's more of a sliders guy.
It's not what we've done so far. Has not been time travel.
It's an alternate timeline.
Dimension travel.
It's an alternate timeline. It's like there's the timeline.
It's an alternate dimension.
There's the regular timeline, and there's a timeline where Biff
I understand
is
that,
the mayor.
but the point is that this so far has not been a Back to the Future scenario. It's been a slider scenario.
It has been a sliders.
I'll
give you that. What else do we do here?
Apparently, we yell at each other about Back to the Future and sliders.
Well,
Yep, that's it. Thanks for tuning in.
Hey, can we talk about how in this episode the game is going to give us a titular line for the previous game?
It says the name of the first game. Also, you can recruit you can recruit a lot of characters in this chunker. Like the kid in the underwear, Rancho, or whatever his name is.
He's an auto recruit, isn't he?
The
or
boat
can you
kid.
tell him to fuck off?
The boat kid. There's the boat
Yeah, the
kid.
boat kid.
I didn't get boat
There's
kid.
the boat kid. There's Leanne. See, now I stopped
Leanne.
right.
Yes, Leanne.
Len, whatever it is. I stopped right around there. So, I have not done that yet. I'll have recruited her next week.
Yeah, there's boat kid, science lady,
WrestleMan.
Magus from Chrono Trigger.
Wait, what?
What?
Guile.
You do recruit Guile or Nikki or Pierre?
Yeah, Pierre.
Yeah, there's so many characters.
Yeah, I got WrestleMan.
Oh, you
I
got
got
Wrestleman?
Science Lady.
Like Lucha guy? You got Lucha
Yeah.
guy? Oh, super cool. I want Lucha guy.
Everyone, you can just get them. Just go to the little shrine area in Termina when you come back, and you can just get them.
Yeah, I did not get to the part where I come back. I kind of bailed on it at that point. But regardless, so I know there's a few that I'm going to grab here shortly.
Mm-hmm.
What do you want? Hey, Jim.
Huh.
What do you want to do now?
How about we talk about how we leveled up this past week? That's
a great
like
idea,
a good
Jim.
plan.
How about anybody but me goes first?
John will go first.
Sure. I got a game for the Nintendo Switch, but it's also on Xbox Game Pass. It's called Hot Shots Racing, and it looks like a Virtua Racer. Like it's that kind of early '90s Sega polygon graphics.
Ooh.
Like they're definitely kind of aping the Virtua Racer, but it's by the people that made Outrun 2, so it plays like a combination of Ridge Racer and Outrun 2. So it's an arcadey, stagey racer. But it's not like it doesn't have the branching paths of Outrun, so it's more of a set course, but it has a very Outrun-y look to it. And the art style is really cool. The cars are really neat. It's bright and vibrant and runs super well on Switch. It's more of like, it's aimed at multiplayer and stuff. So I haven't played it with Julio, who loves those kind of games yet, but I will. So I think if you have Xbox Game Pass, you should give it a shot. I think it is quite good, so far. I also have been watching Doom Patrol because one of our dear listeners recommended it over The Boys. So I started watching that, and it's good. It's got Brendan Fraser, but he is a robot man, so mostly it's his voice. But he shows up every so often. It's got Timothy Dalton sometimes. It's got who's the guy who was in that Dollhouse show? And
Alan Tudyk.
Oh, yeah, it's got Tudyk.
Spoiler, I'm sorry. I'm going to jump right into your level up and interrupt you, and it's going to be great. I have also been watching Doom Patrol, and
Okay.
I was just thinking this afternoon about how it's just a crime that Alan Tudyk isn't a bigger star, and I feel like we owe him more. And listeners, think about what you can do for Alan Tudyk this week. It's my call to action.
You can watch Doom Patrol.
Oh, yeah, that's a great idea.
It has Alan Tudyk as a lawnmower man, and that's pretty fun. He's a narrator. He's like a narrator, like a Deadpool narrator, where he's breaking the fourth wall.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And but it's still normally like that can go bad, but he does a really good job at it.
They
I
don't
think.
overuse it as well, I think.
Yeah, he doesn't show up for 2 episodes and then comments on that, because it was kind of weird that he wasn't there for a bit.
And there's some wacky stuff goes on later.
Okay. It also has Vanessa's favorite actor. What's his name? Mark something?
Mark Summers.
Mark
No.
Ruffalo?
No,
Ruffalo Buffalo?
the guy from Supernatural who plays,
Oh, Mark Shepard.
Mark
He
Shepard.
is my favorite actor.
yeah.
Oh, Mark Hamill, from Star Wars.
No, Mark Shepard. He's great. I always am happy to see him show up in things.
Mm-hmm. He's kind of like Derek Waters' older British brother.
He is like Derek Waters' older British brother.
Mm-hmm.
Say that 6 times fast.
Mark Harmon?
Derek Waters' older British brother. Derek Waters' older British brother.
Dan
Derek
Harmon?
Waters' older British brother.
Mark
and I
Henry.
don't
Waters' older British brother.
super
Derek
love-
Waters'
Henry?
older British brother. Derek Waters'
rest-
older British
Like,
brother.
I've tried
I
watching
did
some of the
it.
other DC shows and they were bad.
Yeah.
This one does have a different cyborg than the movie, which seems like a weird choice, right?
Yep. Well, I mean, it's not like they're sharing actors.
No.
Yeah, they have a Flash show and a Flash in the movies.
Oh, that's
That's
right.
true.
I forgot about that.
And I think that this cyborg is younger.
Yeah. Yeah. He's like 21 or something.
Yeah. Maybe it's like a Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. thing where they just went off into a whole different timeline.
Yeah, I do like that they kind of make fun of him for being in the Justice League a lot.
I mean,
And
it's definitely
they
not
give him
part
shit
of
about
like
wanting
the
to be in the Justice
continuity
League.
of the movies or anything like that.
Yeah.
Right. It's not doing the MCU thing.
I
It's
think
not
in
even part of the continuity of the show where the characters were introduced first, which was Titans. That's why it's got Timothy Dalton instead of the guy that it had in Titans.
Wait, so these characters first showed up in a cartoon?
Not
no,
the
in
cartoon,
the Titans
the other
DCU
DC Universe
Yeah.
show, Titans. It's not a
Oh.
very good show.
As this is a spin-off of that show?
Kind of,
Oh.
except for this does not take place in that show's continuity.
Okay.
Whatever happened to the show where
This is
it was
this
going
is its
to
own
be
show.
a gritty Teen Titans and Robin was like,
Well, that's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
It's Titans.
That's gonna have its third season on HBO Max pretty soon.
no kidding.
No kidding.
Wow. I heard about that when the trailer dropped and then not one more peep.
I'm certain I mentioned it when it came out and I watched it. I'm positive I did.
Not one word did I hear.
So Jane has 64 personalities, right?
Mhm.
And each one of them has their own superpower.
Yeah.
And so they're slowly
It's
being
a real
rolled
Legion
out.
situation.
And I like it. I like the Dr. Hathaway, I think, just got revealed. That's as far as I got, where you got her superpower, which is pretty fun. And then you have the one who swears turn into knives.
Oh, where they can weaponize their words and send them at people.
Yeah, that's cool.
That is neat. That one, I think, is unique to the show. I read somewhere. That's not
Okay.
That's a
Interesting.
That's a pretty cool superpower, though.
They it's got some bad graphics. The first appearance of Rita has Rita who looked like a PS1 graphic, and then there was some bad superimposed fire over
Yeah.
things that was pretty shockingly bad. But it was really that first episode that had the really, really bad special effects.
It got
better.
really rushed out of the gate. They literally, that Titan show was coming out, they made 3 episodes and then they were making it as it was coming out. You know what I mean? They were writing
Right.
it and coming up with it. It was real on the fly. And I remember when they threw that Doom Patrol episode in, and very quickly they were oh, people seem to like that. And very, very quickly they
Good
were
for
pushing
them.
out Doom Patrol. And now that service is being shut down.
Vanessa, how do you feel about this show?
Oh, thank you for asking. I like it. It's fun and funny. I've talked about how I've sort of been going through every show of this genre, by which I mean I watched The Umbrella Academy, I watched The Boys, I watched some of Watchmen, but it was a little too relevant to what's going on in the world. I didn't want to deal with that.
Yeah, I couldn't watch
And-
Watchmen either. I'm right there with you.
Yeah. And now I'm watching Doom Patrol. And I like it. It's you can tell it's DC as opposed to whatever these other properties are that are completely devoid of hope, I guess you'd say,
Right.
It has, even though it's adult and there are curse words and sexual situations, it's still very much DC at its heart. The cast is great, and who doesn't love to see Brendan Fraser? Everyone
Who doesn't
loves it.
love to see Brendan Fraser? He's delightful.
He is.
He is.
Because I knew that Brendan Fraser and Matt Bomer were in it intermittently because the characters that they play have their faces covered for the most part. So, much like The Mandalorian or something, you have one person doing the body and other people doing the voices. But they really are in almost every episode, or maybe every other episode in flashbacks in a pretty heavy way. So I was pleasantly surprised to see so much of them.
It wasn't the guy who played Liz Lemon's employee that she has sex with. Wasn't he Matt Bomer's boyfriend?
Oh, I didn't recognize him,
I
but
think it's that guy.
yeah, it's good. And I will say that I just finished the first season. It does do a lot of like character pieces kind of in the middle there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Tends to slow down a lot.
Mm-hmm. It's longer than I thought. It's like 13
yeah, me
episodes.
too.
Yeah, when it got to episode 10, I was
Episodes
like,
are long.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, that was a weird finale. Wait, there's more?
Does Rita get more stuff to do?
She
'Cause that's-
does.
Okay,
She
that's
gets
good,
a
'cause I feel
lot
like
more in the second season. A
Okay.
lot more, yeah.
Yeah, so it's an interesting show. It's an interesting look at how people who have superpowers who don't really want them would deal with it.
Mhm.
It's like the X-Men, except instead of being like minority issues at its core, it's like mental health issues at its core.
Yeah, it's like they all are suffering from major depression, and they live together in a house, and it's beautiful.
It's very X-Men-y too. I mean, if you think about it, the professor in the wheelchair, there's like 5 or 6 of them, all special and strange with weird powers.
Mm-hmm. And the main villain, portrayed by Alan Tudyk, think about what you can do for him this week, really is very Deadpool-y in his breaking of the fourth wall.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that Grant Morrison, I think that part of the show is based on a big run by Grant Morrison from like probably the 80s or the 90s, that I certainly have not read. But I think that it was also, I think that's where it gets it from, is that Grant Morrison love a fourth wall break. That is, that's his favorite thing. So that's fun.
I did really like some of that, especially like kind of saying, "Oh, another superhero show."
Yeah.
Right at the beginning. That put me in a good mood. Destroying Nazis while they played the Nazi punks fuck off song was interesting.
Oh yeah. And Danny is the best character on the show.
Which one's Danny?
Danny the Street.
He may not have gotten that far.
Oh, no.
He's the sentient. He's the sentient.
Stop,
Jim, no.
Never
Okay.
mind.
Okay. All right. There was a talking cockroach. Is that Danny?
No.
Talking
That's
cockroach
Ezekiel.
also comes back.
Ezekiel.
Right. That's right. Okay. All right. Vanessa, how did you level up then?
I just told you. Jim, how did you level up? Wait, I have more level up. Hold up.
Oh.
Bring it back. Rewind. Also on HBO or HBO Go, after it airs, is a documentary series I've been watching called The Vow.
Ooh, that's
Vow.
about the Nexium or
That
Axiom?
is about
Oh, that's
Nexium.
what I was gonna level up with.
Oh, well, to tell you more about The Vow, I'll toss it over to Jim.
No, it's just we can both talk about it. It's a docu-series on HBO about the Nixium cult that there were some high-profile arrests a few years ago when one of the stars of, I think, Smallville was arrested for being in a cult that promoted sex slavery, and that's what Nexium is.
And also, like, one of the Bronfmans, which is like as if a Roosevelt, like a Canadian Roosevelt, basically.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And some very high profile people. It's an interesting documentary because they had this guy involved who did the film What the Bleep Do We Know that got a
Oh,
lot
are you
of...
serious?
Yeah.
Wait, he's involved in the cult? Or is he involved?
No, he was in the cult and he was in it for years and he filmed and recorded a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah. Seems like
It's not fully
everything.
clear. I think they do some reenactments, as well as like the footage from the time, but there's tons of footage from the time.
And it's crazy they have so much footage of Keith Raniere, who's the guy who started the whole thing.
Yes,
'Cause
and
it's-
he's such a creep. He's like the guy you wouldn't go out with in high school.
Obvious creep in the world.
Yeah, he's just like, whoa, do you want to join my
he's like
cult?
touchy, and it's so ew.
I know.
I watched What the Bleep Do We Know in theaters, because Roger Ebert gave it a positive review, and I like Roger Ebert, so I went and saw it, and it was a cult movie. Like, it was very obviously a crazy cult movie made by a cult, and I was like, should we leave? And then, like, the movie's about, like, what you wish being appearing in the world, and then suddenly the power went out in the theater, and I got my money back. It was
Wow,
wonderful.
you did it, John.
And then the next day, Roger Ebert retracted his review and said, "Oh, I didn't realize. I thought these people were experts, but they're all just cult members pretending to be experts."
Yeah. And I think he actually got into this particular cult like right after the movie became successful.
Oh.
And it's interesting because a lot of what they're talking about is like living with kindness and things like that. And on the surface, they're very liberal, hippy dippy. And it reminds me a lot of people I knew growing up in, here we go, get out your Vanessa journals, in Seattle, my hometown.
What?
Because I knew like kids whose parents owned new age shops, you know, or who did like mindful meditation workshops and also like spiritualism. And I was kind of involved in that whole community, and I was always a skeptic because I saw the X-Files and I thought that Scully was cool. When I was a teenager, I'd read Skeptical Inquirer magazine. Shout out to my Skeptical Inquirer fans out there. So I never really got into that stuff, but the sort of the presentation of it is very similar. And then when you start to scratch the surface, you realize that they're just doing typical cult bullshit, which is like telling people that they're terrible and only the cult can fix them.
Yes.
But when you're not like in it, everything that they say sounds so stupid.
Yeah, it's very Scientology-esque, where they do these one-on-one sessions where somebody just drills into you to like your most vulnerable part and just keeps exploiting it until you like become dependent on them. It's super creepy.
But I was actually like, while I was watching it, I was like, this should be required viewing for like every high school student, because I think it really shows how you can be manipulated by pseudo information, you know, things that seem like you're getting facts, but is really just bullshit.
Well, they'll be like, what's the thing you hate most about yourself? And then you say that thing, and then they just keep prying that thing more open and open and open until like it's just weird, gross emotional manipulation.
Yeah. And then like they say things, people are like, well, you know, Keith, who's the leader, really saw through me. He said, like, I can tell you're a person who really cares about your dreams. And I'm like, that's everyone.
I know. Yeah, the stuff that guy says in particular is such like generic new age bullshit.
Yeah.
What's it called again?
The Vow.
The Vow is the name of the show.
What's it on?
HBO.
What's it about?
This cult.
Who stars in it?
Allison Mack and
the girl from that Shangri-La Plaza. Shangri-La.
and the girl who played Aunt Beru in Star Wars Phantom Menace.
Oh, right.
Or, no, not Phantom Menace, like Revenge of the Sith, I think.
And then there's what's that guy?
My girlfriend, Baru.
Keith Raniere.
I like that line.
Exactly.
God,
yeah, my
it's
girlfriend
so
Baru.
fucking
She was in the
terrible.
cult. When they showed like the clip of that, I was like, that movie should not show up in Star Wars ever. You know, it's like girlfriend. It's such like a shattering of the illusion. Who's his girlfriend in space? There's no girlfriends in space.
Shall we go on to throw it over to Matt?
Oh yeah, and Matt,
Johnny, you remembered.
we've
Barely,
established a pattern
but
here
you
where
remembered.
yeah. But we've established a pattern where Jim has to say one more thing he's done, and then Matt has to be like, I've done that too, and transition very smoothly.
Okay.
Oh. Another thing I was going to say, I watched the movie Underwater with Kristen Stewart. Did Matt also do that?
Interesting. I did not watch the movie Underwater with Kristen Stewart.
Wow.
But I no longer feel like I'm underwater with my news. That's right. This week, Matt's Level Up is brought to you by the recently launched website, Defector.com.
Oh, I need to subscribe to that.
Is it .com? Actually, going to check that. Boink. It is. I
Defector.website.
I subscribed to Defector.com. It is the newly launched website by the staff of Deadspin that all walked off the job last year. And it has left a big old hole in my life for a blog that I liked to read. And I'm glad to have that hole filled right back up with the same people writing the same stories. Because Deadspin was the best.
Yeah, I don't even really.
Defector is the best.
I don't even really care about sports, but I loved reading the writing on Deadspin when Deadspin was a thing, and I'm excited to read the articles on Defector.
It's funny that I read so much. I would have said the same thing back when it was Deadspin. Like, I don't even really read the sports, but once it was gone, I realized, like, it was actually the only place that I read about sports.
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to ESPN.com. Like, I can't read the goddamn trades, you know? Mm-hmm. So anyway, now that it's back, I find myself gravitating mostly to the sports articles, because that seems to be what I missed the most.
Yeah, they're really good.
Speaking of, Matt's Level Up is also brought to you by the Tampa Bay Lightning. They made it into the Stanley Cup Finals, ladies and gentlemen. We're all really excited and rooting for them, obviously. All of the Square Roots family. And we're recording this episode shortly after Game 1 of the series, in which the Tampa Bay Lightning lost to the Dallas Stars. So check back next week to see how elated and or devastated I am.
I can't wait to see them kiss that cup.
Elated and or devastated. I want to see Matt elated and devastated.
Isn't that just Matt every week on this podcast?
Yeah, that's true. Hey, speaking of that, let's talk about Chrono Cross, guys.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess I don't get to finish, like, have a level up?
Oh, I thought you
There's
were
no
done.
one to transition
You
to.
all go on for 10 minutes. No, I'm kidding.
If
You
you
did
say
two
one
things
more
already.
thing, then John's
just
going to
kidding.
be like, I did that too. No, wait, Jim went first.
We're gonna
It's an
circle
endless
back over
cycle. Yeah.
The level up loop.
So anyway, I was browsing through autotrader.com.
No,
Oh.
John actually did that.
I was browsing through autotrader.com too. I saw
was there.
a
I
Renault
saw it happen.
Aventine is $30,000. But
So I've been playing a lot of PUBG. Do you guys want to do a quick mention of our 6 wins over the course of 2 nights last week? Because that was absurd.
Can I talk about a really great PUBG moment from today when John and I were the only 2 left alive on Sandhawk, and we were trying to plot ways to kill each other, and I was running over a bridge, like a wooden footbridge. John was behind me, and I poured out an entire container of gasoline over the bridge as I was running over it, and then John thought it would be funny to shoot me in the back with a flare. The flare set the bridge on fire, caught John on fire, and killed him. And then I just ran into the flames and let them burn me up.
I have spent probably a total of, 10 minutes, not all at once in PUBG, wondering where the bullets are coming from and who is shooting at me, only to realize that it's Jim.
Yeah, that's true. We did stream a full Square Boots PUBG stream the other night with all 4 of us.
Yeah.
And I think we ended on a win, didn't we?
We did, and you can
It's
see it.
ridiculous.
John clipped it and posted it on our Facebook page.
Yeah. We've all gotten ridiculously good at the game, and certainly it's not just filled 90% with bots.
I have gotten better on the console. I didn't think it would happen. I thought I would always be bad girl, sad girl on console, but in solos now I can finish top 10 pretty easily. And I hot dropped this morning and killed 2 people. They just tried to kill me. One of them should have killed me, but they just did not know how to aim their shotgun. They were hiding. And I walked into a room and they shot at me twice, from my back. And they were just in the corner and I just turned around and killed them. And
That's always sad.
Yeah, I was like, I'm sorry, buddy. You tried.
Good try. I had a good game where I dropped with Jim and John and a third friend of ours, and they all died in the first, maybe John wasn't there. They all died in the first 5 minutes, and then I took a super powered Gatling gun and a truck and went and drove around and just harassed people. And somehow I came in second place and almost won the game.
I think I was there for that.
Just driving around being an absolute dumbass. Honking my horn and trying to run people over and running straight for crates, and it was a lot of fun. Anyway, all right, that's enough of that. It's time for...
What do we...
Anybody?
I don't remember what
Chrono
you guys called it
Chronicles?
last week. Chrono Chronicles.
You can call it whatever you like, but that's just what I came up with on the fly. Welcome to the Chrono Chronicles.
This game is weird.
We left off just heading to Termina. So I did restart my game after we talked about this. I got Lena because I wanted to see what would happen with her in the party. She's a super good mage. I think she's got the highest magic stat of anyone in my party right now.
Yeah, I got her too.
Nice.
So here in Termina, there's 3 different paths, so we're all gonna have to work together to get through this little chunker. Everyone has to be here, sitting at their chair, so that we can talk it through, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Everyone sitting attentively at their chair. We only record this podcast once a week. We dedicate, roughly 2.5 hours of time to being here and being present.
Yep.
And nobody would ever walk away during the podcast.
Nope. So before the path splits, you get to the city and Glenn is there. He's looking for bellflowers, which I did just pick up one over at the mines there, or what was that? The Fossil Valley place there. And then there's a store called Lisa's. If you have Lena in your party, she's like, "Oh, Lisa and I are besties. Well, I'm just going to talk to my friend." And she talks about friends, and Lisa's like, "Ooh, who's that boy you're with? Look at that lovely bandana."
Mm-hmm. And then Lena's like, "Oh, no, it's not like that." And Lisa's like, "Oh, goody. More for Lisa."
And then Lena's like, give me a break. Stop hitting on my friend." And then you talk to the dad, and the dad's like, "Oh, who's your friend, Lena? Look at this tall drink of water. Are you two dating, or is he single?"
Mm-hmm.
And the dad does tell you, "Oh, by the way, there's a path through this forest, where you can actually end up, if you go the wrong way, inside the Viper Manor. Just FYI."
Yeah, we don't know at this point what Viper Manor is, but everyone is talking about it.
Everyone's obsessed with Viper Manor.
Mm-hmm. And Lord Viper, which is not a name to give your child if you want him to win friends and influence people,
It's true.
Who's out there naming their children like Dr. Doom and Lord Viper and Darth Vader?
Wasn't his name Vigmar von Doom or something? Was something Von Doom.
You talking about Victor Von Doom?
The
Dr.
Fantastic
Doom?
Four guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, Von Doom.
Dr. Doom? Victor Von Doom?
Victor Von Doom. That's it.
Victor Von Doom is a terrible name.
Well, their last
Victor
name
Von
is
Doom
Von
is an
Doom.
awesome name.
If your name is Von Doom, and you know what? No, I shouldn't say that. You know what?
Yeah.
If your name is Von Doom, don't be pressured by those jackasses at Ellis Island to change it. You just keep on calling yourself Von Doom.
So, there's a lot of little things you can do around Termina before you choose a path. You can go see Glenn and Riddle talking at a grave. Riddle's this blue-haired woman with a weird snake. What do you call that thing that goes around the forehead? It's,
circlet.
Snake circlet. Yep. Like a Cleopatra.
Termina's really pretty too. It's kind of fun to walk around. It was the first part of the game that I went, "Oh, this looks really nice."
Yeah, it's a nice looking area. I
noticed the same thing later when we would get to cities, that the cities look really great.
There's Termina churros, but you can't eat them. This guy was telling you all about them. They sounded well, actually, no. They did sound sort of delicious, but they're also made from like ground up hecarim bones and not like flour
I'm
and
okay
sugar.
with that. Like, I'll eat a bone meal. I have no pride.
Gross.
Okay. Like an osobuco?
Yeah.
Okay. Was there anything else I'm missing before we get to the split? Oh yeah, everyone's super excited for Nikki's concert. There's an old lady who's like, young men these days wear makeup, and maybe I could wear makeup if a man like him is wearing makeup, and maybe I could be dancing with my makeup in front of him, and maybe my dancing would be so good that he would notice me.
There's a guy polishing a big bronze statue of Lord Viper. He's like, I gotta polish this so good, so Lord Viper will come.
That does happen.
And
people really like
they're
this
super
Lord
excited
Viper.
about it.
Yeah, it's really shocking that people love a fascist.
Wow. Whoa. Hey, this is a
Who could have seen that coming?
A no Pollock zone. We don't take sides here.
No Jackson Pollock?
Nope. No. Who's that Pollock guy who's in the movies?
The Pollock guy
Sidney
who's
Pollock?
in the movies.
Paul Rudd?
Sure. Anyway.
Paul Atreides?
So at this point,
Kevin
you do
Pollak.
find Kid. Kid does like run into you, and then it's like, okay, for real, I see what you did here. You went off with Lena, and then you went to an inn. If you go to an inn and to save right away and rest before talking to a Kid, she's like, oh, you took her to an inn the second you got here, eh? Oh, what a cat.
But yeah, she's not that upset about it. She's just like, I didn't know you had a girl when I asked her to hang out before, but now we can just be a threesies and all hang out together, right? Right.
And she does call Lena a Sheila. So I guess she's more Australian, which is an accent that I can't do. Just can't, especially not a little
Matt and I
girl
had,
Australian.
Matt, our experiences were opposite of this, right? Because I got Kid. I never lost Kid in my party. So she came with me to Termina. And so like I didn't have Lena either. So
Did you have Pashul or Mojo?
I had Mojo. But not
Okay.
Pashul.
My experience was the same, Jim, because I did not have Lena. So if, did anybody take Lena over Kid? Is that what happens?
Yes, at first.
You have to
but then-
refuse Kid several times, but then
Yeah.
Kid shows up when you get to Termina.
Yep.
Tell us
As
about
the
it, John.
prophecy says, thrice she shall be refused.
And then I did have Pashul in my party, and Pashul picks a fight with the dog. That was pretty fun in the town.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't see that
Oh, that's
part.
fun.
Yeah.
I was
I-
rolling with Mojo and Lena.
Ooh, does Mojo have any special dialogue?
No, and also nobody is like surprised that I'm walking around with this sentient voodoo doll, so that's cool.
There's an old lady there who's like, oh, I had this one young son who was very alive and had lots of flesh. His name was Skelly.
Yeah, he ran off to join the circus.
Yes.
I tried to use the Skelly head on the old woman. And
Yes. Here's the head of your son.
Yeah, and Skelly just goes like dot.
There is a lady you talk to who says his name is Skelly, and Skelly's like, what? But yeah, you can't introduce the skull to the grandma.
Mojo is a terrible character. Like in battle, he's the worst.
By
Oh, really?
Boogans?
Yeah, he's awful.
Well, he's made of straw. I mean, give him a break.
Yeah, he's not good.
Pierre sucks, which leads us to the 3 paths you can take. So basically, Kid wants you to go to Viper Manor with her. Kid thinks that you'll be able to find this frozen flame, which maybe can help set time straight, maybe. There's a fortune teller too, and the fortune teller's like, you don't have a fortune. Seems like you're dead to Serge.
Yeah.
Serge, and also he wouldn't read the fortune for the dog, which seemed weird.
Oh wow,
Rude.
that sucks.
Yeah.
When you
who'd
have him
you
read
guys-
the fortune for Kid, he goes off, right?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I think that might be part of a quest line, maybe? I don't know.
Well, so if you choose Guile's path, the fortune teller plays into it in a minor way.
Do you want to talk about the 3 paths? So to get to Viper Manor, there's 3 people you can recruit. You can either do Guile, Nikki, or Pierre's path. So tell me about Guile's path.
So Guile is hanging out in the bar in Termina, and when you go talk to him, he mentions that he made a bet with the fortune teller that he can steal this item from the dining room in Viper Manor. And at first he just tells you about it, but he doesn't really say anything. And then when you mention that you're going to Viper Manor, he asks if he can come. He's the one who tells you that there's this weird looking kid with a boat that will take you to Viper Manor. And then, when you get there, cause each one has a different kind of intro to Viper Manor. Guile's is, they drop you off like at the bottom of this cliff, and you have to work your way up this cliff while there's a guard throwing rocks at you. And you have to dodge his rocks while also there's enemies on the screen. And then when you get up to the top, you have to fight him, and then that's how you get into the courtyard.
I found it really easy.
It was very easy. It was actually pretty fun.
There's a lot of treasures to find as well,
Yeah.
which was fun. Was nice.
What about? Did anybody do? Is there who are the?
Ooh, hey, hang on though. You didn't really describe Guile.
Oh, Guile is he's like a sexy magician.
Yeah.
Oh.
He's like a sexy mage. He has a wand is his weapon.
Yeah,
he's got like long, I think purple hair, and he wears like a tuxedo mask style mask.
Okay, so I have 2 things I want to talk about for Guile.
I'm going to send a picture to the
One
chat.
of them is Guile. So Guile has a staff. His like weapon is a staff. It's a
wand.
One of his elements is he shrinks the staff down and makes it disappear, and then makes it reappear inside of the enemy, and it shoots out of their chest. And
my God.
And it does so much damage. It does a ton of damage. And the second thing I want to talk about is I'm pretty sure Guile is Magus from Chrono Trigger.
What?
That's my fan theory right now, because 1, his hair is the same. 2, he's a magic guy.
Not.
Yeah, it is. He's got the same hair as Magus. He's a magician guy, and also when you run, like if you guys remember Chrono Trigger, when you would get Magus and he would run, he would just fly like with one knee pointed up.
Oh.
Guile does the same thing when you run.
Whoa.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And the if you remember Radical Dreamers, that was going to Viper Manor, and it was Kid, Serge, and I forget what the name of the guy who turned out to be Magus was. So maybe this is like sort of an interpretation of that plot line.
Whoa. Oh, Matt found like a side-by-side comparison photo.
They don't look anything alike, of course.
You don't think?
I mean, look at him.
Yeah, Guile does seem to be about a half a head taller.
He's definitely got a tan.
Yeah. He
Okay,
has
if it's not him, like fuck that. Like,
well, maybe it's just like a sort of homage.
but that sucks. Don't basically do the same character and have it not be the thing. It's just
that's how the multiverse works, bro.
What's the other path?
Well, how about Vanessa tells us about Nikki's path?
Yeah, I did Nikki's path. Nikki is
Hey, Nikki, you're so fine. You're so fine. You blow my mind. Hey, Nikki, clap, 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 clap. Hey, Nikki, clap, 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 clap.
I have sent a picture of Nikki to our chat for you to peruse. Nikki, I think he sort of is like a Marilyn Manson-ish kind of type.
Sure. I would say that's a real Hot Topic goth.
Yeah, it's a real Hot Topic goth. He is a rock star. He has leather pants and then like a leather harness and a pink feather boa.
Mm-hmm. Chunky Spice Girls boots.
Yeah, Chunky Spice Girls boots and a dog collar kind of thing. And everyone loves him. People are just bananas for Nikki.
That guy definitely did a song for the Queen of the Dam soundtrack.
For sure.
Vanessa was reminded of Mechanical Animals by this, and I sort of see that.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I could see if that was a very direct inspiration, to be honest with you. That's a great call, Vanessa.
Yeah. So you can explore Nikki's boat. He has this huge ship. everyone's getting ready for his concert, and you go into the dressing room where his backup dancers are hanging out, and Mickey is in there. Mickey is the woman from the posters in the world we started in. And she is a dancer, and she's saying, "Oh no, Nikki is missing. This is really terrible. I think he went to the swamp. Please go get Nikki." And I was just like, okie dokie. I didn't realize I was choosing a path. I just did the first thing I came across. But I'm glad I did Nikki because he's fabulous and he's a glam rocker. And why wouldn't I choose him? So you go to the swamp, and wander around until you run into Nikki, and Nikki is like, yeah, I'm trying to get through the swamp.
What an editing nightmare that's going to be for you.
But there's this big plant blocking the way, but I'm pretty sure that if you go around to these different bushes, you can get berries of various colors and then use those to lure a beast of the corresponding color to this monster. Monster will then wake up and eat the beast, and then we can fight it. And also, are you going to Viper Manor? Please take me with you. So I'm like, sure thing. Please come with us. Nikki's special attack is taking his guitar and smashing it over an enemy's head. It's called Grand Finale. And he does fight with an electric guitar. So when it's his turn to attack, he's just like, wow, wow. And they're like, oh my God, that's so good. I'm going to lose hit points. Yeah. And then he does smash him. And that is Nikki's path into the mansion.
I went to Pierre's path. Now, I went for Pierre, not just because he's French, and I am le francophile, right? I just love France.
He is. Every day I talk to John, he's like, I love France, croissant.
I want to drive a Renault or a Citroën and eat this croissant.
Oui, je m'appelle Johnny. Je suis fatigué. Où est le croissant?
I do love croissants.
La bibliothèque est dans le fromage.
What? Pardon?
Por favor, fatigué, je suis...
Stop calling me that. Anyway, so he also is doing that we've encountered it so many times in Square Roots now, the gay stereotype of the extremely feminine, fashionable man with the rose.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah,
and he was along those lines, but he doesn't have any gay stuff.
Oh.
So he is like, I am an amazing sauceman, and I want to join the Acacia Dragoons, and I think the only way I can do this is if I meet General Viper. So, can you help me get to the General Viper's manor? Yeah, sure, buddy. Yeah, we'll figure it out. He's like, well, I would go, but I need my hero's medal, and I do not know what it is. I dropped it somewhere. Go find it. Unfortunately, there's some kids outside running around saying, I got this medal. And then if you ask them to give it to you, they're like, yeah, because it would be stealing since someone lost it. So I grab the medal from them, give it to Pierre, and Pierre's so happy. Oh, he's very, very happy. He's like, all right, let's just walk up to the front gate of Viper Manor. I'll tell them I'm interested in joining.
You sound like Jean-Claude Van Damme.
So we get to the front gate. And he's like, hello, you must know me. I'm Pierre the Swordsman. I am a hero. I'm very strong, very tough. I want to be a dragoon. They're like, yo, we're full up. We got enough. And he's like, but let me talk to General Viper. He'll want to talk to me. I'm like, no, don't come in. You don't need you. And then he asked if I have a plan. My plan is just to charge. So we do. So Kid and I destroy those guys with Pierre. Pierre turns out to suck. He is the worst character so far. I've got maybe Mojo's worse, but Pierre's very bad until I got Pierre a couple of extra items that give him boosts and upgraded sword. Then he started getting some damage.
The only thing that's good about Mojo is he's got average or below average stats across the board, except for I think it's his agility that's at least 3 or 4 times what everybody else's is.
Well, I guess that's good for building up building up your level.
Yeah,
there.
but like I don't think I ever saw him do more than like 6 or 7 damage to an enemy.
What's that word you just said?
Like he can attack a
John
lot,
Brandon?
but they do very little damage.
What did
There's
you just say, Brandon?
What?
You used a word there that was at the forefront of my mind earlier today.
Suck, Pierre.
Level.
Level.
Oh, can you explain the leveling? I don't know how it works either.
Right. Okay. So,
Ladies and gentlemen, today I was very confused on how the leveling up in this game works.
First of all, I was talking about the level, it's like a meter. It's like a super meter you build up. And
There's stars, right? You have a number of stars?
Well, hold on. Let me talk. There's two things. First, there's level, which is in combat, and that's your super meter. And the more level you have, the better attacks and elements you can do on your element grid.
Your spell level.
Yeah.
Or like your special level.
But you don't grind for experience in the same way in this game. To get more slots and better stats, you have to get a star level up. And you get star levels by defeating bosses. Now, here's the thing. After you get your star level, you need to, like, every character who's leveled up, and it applies to everyone in your entire party, like everybody.
Wait. You mean in your, like, possible party?
Yeah. In your, like, what do you call that? Barracks. Everyone, like, back home gets your star level up, but after you star level up, you have the next 4 fights, you'll get stat increases, and one of those is going to be pretty big.
Oh, really?
So that's why sometimes you get stat increases after you've leveled up, got a star. But then you stop. So basically, it's an anti-grinding thing that if you want to keep everyone maximize their stats, you want to take everyone between each star, get them through 4 fights, and that's all you need to do. You don't have to grind forever.
Why would I do that? Oh my god, there's like 60
50
characters.
fucking characters.
If there's like 7 characters you really like, take them out before you go hit the next boss, get them the little stat increases, and that will just make them, if you don't do that, they'll still level up. They'll be slightly less powerful than if you had gone and done that. So it's not a big deal. But that is how leveling works in this game.
So everybody levels together, though. So that's good.
But you can end up with more points if you've been using them in combat 4 times after the level up. And that's for every level.
It is cool how they kind of constantly increase their stats, especially their HP. Like, it happens a lot.
You get 4 of those after each boss fight.
Yeah.
How many?
4.
4.
That's weird. What a weird fucking thing to do. This game is weird.
It is weird.
It's like they wanted to try to reinvent the RPG like Chrono Trigger kinda did. But like, it's just way too much.
I've got a question for listeners out there. So you know how everyone has an innate color to them, right? Like
like white people.
I had to read again the like magic fac for this game for like the 3rd time because it's so fucking confusing that like I forget shit.
My question
this spell is 1 ± 7. So what slot should it be in?
Between 1 and 8, I guess. My question is, if you have a innate green character, do they do more damage casting green spells?
Yes.
Or is it just that they do. So you do want to concentrate on having lots of, that's all
But I think you also want to mix it up because you don't want to be stuck in a situation. I don't think it's not as like, it's not as, unforgiving as the Persona's version of it, but like, I don't think you want to get caught throwing a bunch of red spells at a red character, you want to be able to mix it up.
I haven't figured out I haven't mastered the art of knowing the alignment of my enemies yet. So like, I haven't found those like turn black, turn yellow, turn green elements useful yet, but I imagine that I will eventually, right?
It does say in the bottom right corner when you have them selected what their innate
color interesting.
is.
I just didn't see that, I guess.
Yeah. Bottom left. So if you use like green magic against yellow, I think that does
green versus yellow, red versus blue, white versus black.
Which doesn't make a lot of sense. Like, fire, water, sure. Light and dark, got it. And then they're just like, and also earth and electricity.
Also purple versus brown.
Yeah.
So after you beat up these guards, that's it. You're in Viper
You're
Manor.
thinking of Skies of Arcadia.
Pierre doesn't really do, like, Pierre's is the shortest for sure, and he's just like, oh, let's go find General Viper. But spoiler alert, when you do find General Viper, he doesn't even mention joining the Acacia Dragoon. So
Whoa.
the game just kind of forgets about his plot. You do find some items to, like, make him stronger. There's like a special shield for him, the hero shield, that increases his stats, and then there's a bronze sword he can use that's good. So
Oh.
I
Well,
don't understand I understand the mechanic. I don't understand the, like, 6 million characters that you're able to collect, but none of them really affect, like, the plot other than when you first meet them.
I think some of them will have little cutscenes, like the Poshul had a special one, Lena had special ones, but I haven't seen any since, so I don't know. I guess Skelly too.
It contributes to replayability. Because
I guess that's true. I mean, I would rather have, like, a core cast of characters that the game tells a story about, you know? Because when they make it so obvious that the characters are swappable, like, it kind of makes them feel disposable.
I do wish also that in a game with 40 characters, you should have, like, 6 party slots and not 3, because you're never going to use all of them. There's just too many of them.
I agree with that, but also I hate it when there's a ton of characters and it takes forever to get through a turn.
So Pierre just ends up in the front gates of the manor, and then you get the sneaking through the manor at night thing, which is like, once you get inside it's a lot easier, but at first you're kind of avoiding guards that run after you. There's a spotlight in the backyard that will summon a lot of guards to fight you.
There's a little barn with, like, dragons in it, and you can do a mini game.
Yeah, our first bullshit minigame.
There is.
Yeah.
And that guy also gives you, if you do the basic level in the mini game, you get a key, which unlocks the manor. But also, if you do the 4th level, you get a heal all spell that is super useful.
Oh, man.
Wait, where's that?
Really wish I would have done that. I bet I can go back, though.
Yeah, you can go back. You can go back. And
I
do
did it
that.
all the way up to, I got the bronze male, I think, which is like 30.
Okay, yeah,
And then I
40
stopped.
is the one to stop at, because
Oh, man,
100.
I should have kept going. Yeah.
Once I figured out, we'll talk about that in the mini game corner.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
100 seems impossible.
That's what the game tells you, but there is a special prize for it.
Yeah,
So,
they say,
quick
like,
question.
you can do something on New Game Plus where you can slow the game down, and that makes the 100 more achievable.
Oh.
So, quick question. Who else got totally busted by the spotlights and had gotten, like, 6 fights in a row?
Not
Oh,
me.
I did that on
0
purpose
times.
because the captains sometimes will drop Meteorite, which is a very good white spell.
That's a
I did
super
get that.
good spell, yeah.
Wow, I successfully snuck.
Wow.
I didn't get hit by the spotlight at all either.
I find moving around in this game to be difficult, to be honest with you.
Attention. During the process of this edit, I realized I neglected to mention a certain beefy boy. This is Ketchup, who is the third of the Shaker Bros, with Salt, the Logos tall one, and Pepor, who is the Ormy short one. Ketchup is the large, burly, not super bright mustachioed one who does love to scream tomato as he tutorializes what elemental weaknesses are all about. And he is wonderful. Thank you for your attention during this important announcement. And now back to the show.
Anyway, yeah.
So you get the key, and then
Get the
there's
key.
you get inside the front entrance, and there's 2 locked doors on either side. They're locked by like a wrought iron gate, and then there's a big door that is locked by this turnable dragon statue that, if you do get wrong, does eject you into a pit, and you're inside a cage, and then the guards proceed to laugh at you.
Mm-hmm. They're like, lol, 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 lol.
Look at these little kids dropping in like little rats into a rat trap.
Mm-hmm.
And then kids like,
Oi, Gav! I'm from Australia, though,
and I'm gonna fight you.
Yeah, good day, mates. Look at your dumb faces. And they're like, you better stop saying that or we're going to open this door and we're going to beat
Your
you
mum's
up.
a dingo.
Yeah.
We have Australian listeners. You know
I'm
that,
sure
right?
they love this. Like, we can do American too. Burgers, guns, and freedom.
There is one very active member of our Facebook group who is Australian. I just want to say, if you're offended, I'm very sorry, Alex.
Kangaroo!
But we're not stopping, I guess.
Yeah. So, Kid does bait these guards into a fight, and you destroy them because Kid is a radical dreamer and very strong. Oh, spoiler alert.
Yeah, Kid is a radical dreamer and very strong.
Can we talk about the radical dreamer thing? I mean, since John brought it up.
Well, we'll find out more. Let's talk about it when we meet Lynx, because
Okay.
Lynx kind of drops that
Yeah.
on you. So then you dress up in their gear. If you have Poshul in your party, Poshul will not dress up in the gear, but everyone just thinks Poshul's a dog.
Pashul is not a dog. Pashul is a man in a dog suit. And I will not be convinced of anything other.
So, Poshushu. So you do go downstairs. There is some many traps here. There's little targets on this red carpet. If you walk on those, an enemy will drop and then summon more enemies, which is pretty annoying. There's eyeballs on some doors that you can get through without fighting the eyeball door if you go through when the eye's closed.
Oh,
But
really?
if you fight it when the eye's open, then, but it's worth it to, I don't know. But then again, grinding doesn't do anything in this game, so you can avoid all the fights you want.
Well, you can get material for
That's
making
true.
better, stronger weapons.
Yeah,
You get items and stuff.
lots and lots of elements. You get tons of elements.
I have grown to really like the stamina system.
Me too, because it means your magic's always useful and you aren't saving it
Oh,
for bosses.
totally, yeah.
I love the no mana thing. The stamina for the hits and the way it counts to build the other party member's stamina back up is a little weird and feels unnecessary. But the stamina for special attacks is such a great idea. It's like spell slots, but you don't have to worry about running out for the day or whatever. It's great.
I have a question, guys.
Yeah.
So if you have, because I noticed that, let's say you have a level 2 element and you equip it in a level 4 slot. It says Bushwhacker +2.
Right.
Does that let you cast it more than once, or does
No.
it just show the differential between levels?
It makes it more powerful.
It makes it more powerful.
Interesting.
They raised the power and a 12% increase.
Oh,
So
that's super interesting.
+2 is 24.
So
So it's
spells
25%
can
more
always
powerful.
be useful. That's pretty fucking brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the combat system
Yeah.
here. Although I did run into a problem. So, say you have, Vanessa talked me through this because I got really confused. This did lead to my death, last night. If you get poisoned, poison is super dangerous in this game, and all my antidotes were equipped on somebody who I don't think was in the party, so I couldn't get, actually I've learned how to, let me just preface this by saying, if you want to unequip people, you actually do it from the menu. You can unequip everybody but stupid Kid who gets dropped out of the party for a while, and you can't unequip her this way.
She keeps her elements, doesn't she?
Yeah, if you go to
Yeah, I
equip
noticed that.
or
I was
elements,
really fucking annoyed.
and then tap on the D-pad left a few times, you'll be able to unequip everybody, even if they're not in your party, which is amazing. So just heads up, a pro tip, you can unequip people who are not in your party by the menu.
Interesting.
But yeah, so the antidotes was equipped as an element to someone who wasn't there. And that meant that the items were gone from my item pool because I just wanted to use this antidote to heal my character.
Yes.
And then I got into a boss fight with, poison and 10 hit points and died right away. Or Serge died right away. And, I died basically. So where were we?
I didn't feel the sting of a full party wipe until I got to Lynx.
Oh.
I don't think I've had it happen yet. I really like being able to The stamina system in regards to, in each battle, each character has 7 points of stamina, and each action, like, costs points of stamina. And you can, as we mentioned last time, it has like a Bravely Default system where you can use more stamina than you have and go into negative. Each other character, when they use an action, like, it adds to the characters that are not acting's stamina meter. So that's how they regain their stamina.
Okay, that makes sense.
And what it does is it allows you to kind of strategize around, like, having this character's gonna just do a little bit of this so that this one can, go nuts and do all the big.
And if enemies get their stamina back while you're fighting, then they'll break your turn and insert themselves.
Yeah, and I find that really annoying. It happens to me a bunch.
Yeah, all the time. So there's a code. We saw that there was a code, and the guards talked to Glenn about changing the code and whisper to him what the new code is. And then the fat guy's reading it made it seem like you had to run after him to catch him writing the code on the wall, which you can, but that doesn't give you the code. What you need to do is just look at the wall when he's done in the barracks, and then you get your code.
Yeah, I didn't realize this, so I did make it all the way back around to the statue and then have to go back down to the fucking lunchroom. Real annoying.
There's a treasure room with tons of stuff, which is good for Pierre, because there's like a special item for him and stuff. Oh yeah, what happens when you get to the dining room and the object that Guile had to steal?
So there's no indication that you're grabbing the item that he was supposed to take. So I grabbed a bunch of items while I was in there. One of them was, an accessory called the Dragoon's Honor.
Oh yeah.
And that's the thing he was supposed to steal. So you just get it in your inventory as a regular item. I didn't know I had gotten it until I checked a wiki, and it was like, oh, take this thing to the fortune teller. And I was like, if I wouldn't have read that, I would not have known that I actually did the thing that he was supposed to do. Yeah.
And be like, hey, I stole this. It's on my boy Chrono's arm.
Yeah, I don't.
Surge, right? Surge is Chrono.
Surge. Yeah. Sure.
Oh, I didn't bring up before that Nikki says that he thinks his sister may be somewhere in this fort, and that's why he came.
What's his sister's name?
He doesn't know.
Okay.
Bet it's Mickey.
So you do, you eventually, let's see. Yeah, there's an amulet on the wall, and when you are about to pick that, at least in my party, Pierre's like, that is definitely a trap. And Kid's like, I know, but I want the treasure. Well, we should take it anyway. So you can like take it carefully, you can take it cautiously, you can just grab it, or you can leave it alone. I just grabbed it. And it did flip the wall and eject me into a cage in this laboratory.
Ooh. Yeah, I selected like leave it alone, and the kid's like, come on, grab it. And it's like, okay, I'll grab it. So you really don't have a choice.
I didn't want, because I clicked on it and I chose not to grab it, just like leave it alone, and then they make you touch it anyway.
Unfortunately, this is where I died, was right after this, but...
to the bulbs?
No, to like right after that to because the bulbs poisoned me, and that killed me in the next fight.
Gotcha.
So you fall, so Lucia is this weird German woman with purple hair, and she does have the very stern accent. It's lots of dies and zen. And
it's very interesting that how do you pronounce her name?
Lucia?
In my mind, I was calling her Lucia.
Yeah, that could work.
Lucia works.
Yeah.
I call her like, in my head, it's just like Luca.
So
which I know is wrong.
She's a scientist.
No, Luca.
And she looks kind of like a grown-up Luca, maybe.
She does kind of, which is kind of a fucking
We'll talk about
rip-off,
later.
Kind of a
We'll
rip-off.
talk about later.
It's not a ripoff. That's a weird thing to say. It's like an homage. It's intentional. That's not a ripoff. It's meant to bring those characters to mind.
Woman, blue-haired scientist in a Chrono Trigger game, just fucking make it Luca. You don't need to make it different.
I'm so mad.
He's
And
actually
we don't
right.
know, like, what even
What is
time
this?
we're in here or world. These could be descendants. These could be ancestors. We don't know.
But
It's
still,
so weird to me how
it's-
much of a Final Fantasy game this is, with like the music swells and like the graphics and the setting, and the combat is not, but also very much is a Final Fantasy game. It's like, it's so strange.
Mhm.
Why is it not just a Chrono Trigger sequel though? Why is it this?
What's weird to me is there's this Square game that I've never played that just feels so much like all the Final Fantasy games I love. So I find that really interesting. That's kind of like was lost to me.
I
never
agree with
played
you
this.
that like sometimes it hits a note with me where I kind of almost get like a nostalgia touch. Like I'm playing a classic Final Fantasy or something where I'm like, ooh, I like this.
It does like settle into that groove, but like when it comes to the character things, I don't know, man. It's like it's more than a reference, and it's worse than like an imitation, if that makes any sense.
So, Lucia is, she is breeding weird plant monsters, which remind me a little bit of, Breath of Fire 3 with Pico. So she does ask you, she'll let you out if you fight her
Come
plant
on.
monsters.
Remember how cute Breath of Fire was? Remember when you played like the first 10 hours of the game as like cute little toddler Ryu?
Yep.
And he would get into like arguments with the little blonde girl, and it was the best. That game was so fun.
So you do, fight these, and they're very easy. At this point, you can talk to a little character named Pip. Tell me about Pip, Vanessa.
Oh, hi, it's me, Pip.
No, please. I don't think so. This is not.
for sure the party to meet Pip.
Oh boy, this is.
John.
I gotta ask you both to not, please.
It's my dream to sail the ocean in a ship. Please open the door.
Oh.
And I love that Lucia is like, do not open the door, please. And does tell you that Pip is like a experimental monster that she wants to research that will change forms when attacking and grow, I guess. But right
Pip's
now,
a Pokemon.
ooh. But so I did open the door for Pip.
I'm a Pikachu.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I opened the door for Pip as well, though I regret doing that if I have to listen to more of this for the rest of the show.
This is how the dialogue is written, Matt. I want to make it very clear to our listener that Pip
Boy,
is
it's
written
certainly
in a woo talk.
Yeah. One of my favorite things is when your character does, like, when they do their, like, character elements, and there's sometimes a little bit of voiceover in it. Have you guys caught any of that?
No.
For, like, Mojo, when you do Mojos, there's this really high-pitched, like, that he does. It's really funny.
So Lucia is like, I'll let you go, and I kind of want to join you, but I'm really busy, so maybe come back later, and I'll party up with you, friends. I am evil scientist, but I can be helpful.
Yeah, I'm totally down with the evil scientist. Can't wait.
No, get her.
That's what I'm doing in the game right now.
to
That's
be
the
honest,
last thing I did.
like,
was
I don't-
like
I don't
start heading
have-
that way.
I don't have Poshul, and I don't have Lena, and I chose to not put the boat kid in my party. And Mojo sucks so bad that I decided to put Lucia in. And you know what? She's pretty good.
Okay.
Yeah. Like,
Why did you
she's not
choose
bad.
not to? Why did you choose not to use Boat Kid?
Because Boat Kid creeps me out, man. He needs to put on some pants. I didn't
Yeah,
feel comfortable having that
creepy.
kid around.
That kid's underwear is, we'll get there,
Yeah.
but I guess we've met him. So
what
yeah,
is
there's
his
this
name?
weird,
Does he have an actual name?
yeah, his name, I've got it down here.
Is it like
somewhere.
Macha?
Korcha.
Korcha.
He becomes, you can, I guess, meet him because he'll take you on a boat with Guile. Yeah, so there's a treasure room with 5
Oh, does
suits
he?
of
So do you
armor.
not utilize him otherwise? I thought that all 3 of them used. No, I guess you wouldn't have.
Yeah, but he can join the party later. There's another thing.
Yeah, I didn't take the boat. I went through the swamp.
Yeah, I didn't use him either. I just walked up to the front door. So, there's a treasure room with 5 suits of armor, and you need to put a shield onto one of them and then that, like a decorative shield you find. And then you get into a big fight and they give you lots of like super special healing capsules, that they all drop one. That fight killed me because I lost Sayers right at the beginning. And, then if you go, so now you've got the code, so you can go upstairs, unlock the main hall. When you do get there, you do meet a Harlequin named Harley. And she warns you that there's a very big fight coming up and you should be careful because she thinks you are so beautiful.
That's hot.
Yeah. She is wearing like a big jester outfit. She reminds you a bit like a sexy version of one of those jesters from Final Fantasy IX.
She looks
I like to think that she is Harley Quinn.
like Harley Quinn. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, not like Harley Quinn. She is Harley Quinn. This is just one of her side stories. She's French in this because she just felt like doing a French accent.
The only place you can go now is the library. And, but this little girl, Marcy, has made the library into her playground.
Boo.
I knew you were going to make a Marcy's Playground reference. I knew you were going to make a I can't.
Boo. Here is where I got my character moment. Nikki sees Marcy and he's like, right age, right height, right weight, looks just like my sister. It's my sister! Sister, it's me, Nikki. And Marcy's like, whatever, I don't have a brother. Who are you? Go away, you're weird. Who's this Marilyn Manson wannabe? Glam rocker David Bowie, I hate you. Go away.
Yeah, she, is very into killing you. She keeps asking this old man who's there, he identifies himself as like a prophet of fate or something, or prophet of time. And he's like, she's like, can I kill them? He's like, not yet. Let's talk to them a bit.
And your party's just like, she thinks she could kill us. Look at this little girl. Except for Nikki, who's like, come home. And she's like, I do not know who you are.
And then, the old man is like, oh, she is one of the 4 divas of the Acacia Dragoons. Oh,
I love that they're called the divas.
there, you do get to meet, there's, when you're dressed in your outfits, you can meet, a lovely, oh yeah, cause you're still hidden. You can meet that guy who attacked you at the grave. I forget his name, Kara or Kara. And, he's got a chest in his room that if you keep tapping on it, he'll count the number of times. He's like, leave that alone. Stop trying to open it. And then finally he's like, fine, you can take it. Look, you really want it so bad. You can have it.
Oh, really? I gave up at 15 times. He's
It's
like,
20.
It's 15
20
times.
times
You've touched the chest.
Oh,
What's in
yeah.
there?
20. And like, I like after a minute, he's like, that's the 8th time you've done it. That's the 9th time you've done it. And it keeps counting you all the way to 20, and then he's like, all right, you can just have it.
Yeah.
What is it?
There's
What is it?
another
What's in
room.
there?
There's another room with like a sleeping
What's
muscle.
in the chest?
What's in the box?
What's in the box?
It's some kind of accessory. It's
like a dragoon. It's another dragoon.
Yeah, there's
one.
It's
another
a dragoon something,
thing.
but like that, I think it's the one that's in that chest is probably the best accessory in the game up to that point because
Wow.
it ups
raises your attack power by 2
It does.
instead of 1.
Wow.
Two instead of 1, but it also affects like 3 other stats.
No,
I
that's
missed
the
a
other
lot of
dragoon
stuff.
thing is the one that affects 3 stats.
Oh, that's the other one.
Yeah.
Oh, that one's still good
there's-
though.
that one's
So,
also really good.
There's
Though.
another room that the FAQ I read just ignores, and it's got a sleeping muscle man in like a metal Speedo and a helmet. And I went and looked at the chest in that room, and he sat up, and I was like, oh, I don't want to fight this guy. So did anyone try to interact with him more?
Yeah. You can
Okay.
just talk to him and ask him. There's like 7 questions you can ask him about, I think. Is it
Okay.
him or is
Yeah.
it the guy in the next room that you can talk to?
No, that's Karak or whatever. his
Yeah.
Oh,
name is.
you're right. But he does talk to you, but there's nothing to it. He's just like, he says
I want
one
to
thing.
ask him like, where's
Yeah, we know what you wanna ask him.
What's wearing a metal Speedo like? Vanessa, did you mess around with him? I guess not. She was very offended by that question.
I was thinking about it. I'm sorry. I was wondering if it was a chastity Speedo.
Ooh.
I just talked to him. I didn't like mess with him that much. I'm not like following a FAQ or anything unless I get
Okay.
stuck. So I feel like I'm missing a lot. Maybe I should be following a
I
fact.
feel that was kind of. I didn't want to do like a play along with a fact game, but I kind of am because this game, like, there's so much
Everything's
stuff that's
missable.
100% missable for life if you don't get it, and like I can't play the game like that, like knowing that I'm missing all that because I'm thinking about it the whole time.
Yeah. I want to give the listeners the authentic experience of what it's like to just play this game and not know what you're doing. So it's really for them.
I respect that. I'm glad one of us is doing it.
This only unlocks when you come back to Viper Banner later, but I want to talk about it now. In the library, if you come back later, there is a little hole behind the desk where the prophet guy's standing. And if you go down there, you see the crashed Epoch in the tower.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's really weird. It's just there. You can't do anything with it.
It's weird because I like a slider situation and I'm kind of here for it, but every time it like touches on Chrono Trigger, I'm like, ugh, don't.
Jim, did you see the crashed Epoch?
No, where?
It's the second time you go to Viper Mansion. If you go behind the desk in the library, there's just like tap around with the X button. And there's a secret passage down there. You just see like the Epoch is smashed up in the basement.
That's fucked up. That's fucked up. The Epoch was like another character in Chrono Trigger.
Yeah, it's just there.
It followed you around like a dog. And it's dead?
It's just crashed in the basement.
That's fucked up. Wow.
So,
Wow. That is dark.
So then,
Vanessa, what are you doing?
so then you do talk. So then you do get into a fight with Marcy, who is one of the 4 divas, and she is very powerful. She's got her kicks, she's got her punches, and if you make her mad enough, she's got her magic.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's because I have guile or if, and I do not mean this in a smarmy way, but or maybe I'm just good at the combat, or apparently it's not that I've been grinding and leveling up, but I did not have a problem with any of this stuff. I fucking wiped Marcy out in like 2 turns.
You might have had the right spells to use on her. I think she's got black. She's got the black innate.
Oh, does she?
Magic.
I did go nuts with Surge's white
Meteor and his rush and everything.
That rush thing is so strong.
I thought she was blue.
Oh, maybe she. Oh, yeah, you're right. Because she is using. Does she lock Serge? I can't remember. Maybe this is the next fight I'm thinking of.
I don't. Maybe I just got lucky and she didn't hit me because she did kill. I think she did kill Kid, but I was able to rev Kid pretty quick and then hit her again and kill her.
She does have this.
Have a problem with her.
It's wild.
Easy
She's got
peasy.
this white ice blast or this ice blast spell that does freeze a person, and I got it. And I was like, "Oh, I got this awesome ice blast spell. I'll equip it on Kid." I said stupidly because that spell is gone. Can't unequip it from her anyway.
Well, I don't think you want to use a blue spell on a red person, right?
You do want to use a blue spell on a red person,
I mean,
but you don't want a red person using
with
a blue spell.
right? I hadn't really figured that out yet.
What happens when a red person uses a blue spell?
They're just less powerful.
It would just be less. It would be like 12% less powerful, right?
I bet all my shit's so fucked up. I don't know any of my people's alignments.
When I figured that out, I did go through and arrange all of my elements in a way that I was like, now I get this. And now, like, I had Kid with like at least 1 red in each level, and then a bunch of other stuff too. But
So
I
I
should do that.
misinterpreted.
I should like unequip everyone and get real.
yeah, you can you can optimize it.
Yeah. You can, so the turn red, I thought it would turn the entire field red so that, cause if you do have the entire red field, it does a big boost to your magic too, or like blue field or whatever. If you cast blue spell and the field is all blue, but that's not what turn red and turn blue does. It changes the element of the enemy you're fighting to make them weak against something, I guess. Like if you turn them red, then they're weak against blue.
Well,
Is that
there is also the field element. And
What-
you'll
yeah,
use that
some-
later on for summons.
Okay, so the field thing is for something that I don't have yet.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if the more field elements are the same color as the character you're using, the stronger their spells are. So if there's 2 red field elements, kids' spells are stronger.
Oh, really?
If there's 3, they're super stronger.
And if there's 3, they're super stronger. And if you have 3, once you have the summon elements are colors, and you have to have the field element fully their color in order to cast the summon.
That
And
is
the field
So then I think
element-
you'll find yourself putting like turn red on Surge
That's
so
actually
that you can
pretty
cast
dope.
the.
That's actually super cool. So the battle system in this game rules. The plot is fucking trash. Epoch's in the basement, dead. There's a not Luca. There's a not Magus. It sucks.
I think the battle system's kind of too complicated, but like
Well,
now
like,
that I understand it, I think it's fucking great.
Yeah, all the little pieces just fit together. There's a lot of stuff to understand,
Exactly.
but what they all
Exactly.
fit together so well when you like consider everything. It's pretty cool.
All right, so is that it for this episode? I think we're
No,
done.
hold on. I'm just doing something. I'm copying something to put into the group chat. Just give me 1 second. Almost there.
It's gonna
Crop.
be a picture of like Chrono's feet getting
No,
tickled or
I
something.
swear. It's just for Jim.
It's it's
There you
Link
go, Jim.
swallowing Chrono.
Jim, there you go.
Oh yeah.
Oh my! That was in the basement of Viper Manor.
That is in the basement of Viper Manor. I just took.
How did I
took
miss that? And
screenshot.
what room was it in?
You have to go behind the,
The basement.
desk. You have to go to the library, behind the desk in the library, tap on X, and there's a path down there.
Oh man, that
And there's a guy who will
sucks,
also change
dude.
your names if you want to change any character's
And
names.
that guy calling himself the Prophet of Time, and like, fuck that. Like, dude, that makes me so mad. The Prophet of Time dismantled the Epoch.
So he does tell you that there is a switch on one
You
of
know,
the
I didn't quite get it when John first mentioned it, but now that Jim has reacted the way he has, I see that the Epoch is really like Fry's dog from Futurama.
Yeah, it does.
Oh.
Like in the first game, it literally
This is a real Fry's dog situation.
in Chrono Trigger. There's a line of dialogue that says the Epoch followed you somewhere where you landed in time, like because it like loves you. It's a
Jeez.
it's a sentient machine,
Oh,
and they
here's his
just
corpse.
they dismantled it.
Maybe the Time Prophet is Chrono, and that's like his ship, and it just died a natural death, old age.
I am frustrated by the fact that, and I get this is probably everybody's problem. I am frustrated by the fact that this is not a sequel to Chrono Trigger. Someone explain to me the reasoning behind this. Get Square fucking Enix on the phone.
This is a
want them
sequel
to
to
explain
Chrono
this
Trigger.
fucking game
What
to
are
me.
you talking about?
Huh?
This is.
Yeah,
That's it.
it's a sequel to Chrono Trigger.
This is not a sequel.
You know what it is in the worst
the
ways
worst
you
kind
can
of way,
imagine.
yes!
And you know what? It's gonna imagine, you don't even know how bad it's gonna get, but you will.
Okay.
I know about it because I read the spoilers and I'm mad. But you'll learn about it eventually.
Okay. So you, the prophet tells you there's a switch behind one of the pillars. You push the switch, it lowers a platform, which almost crushes 2 guards. They're very mad about it and then attack you. And then you take a ride up this platform. And, kid, we walk into like what must be the general's office. There's a blue flamey thing that the kid's like, that's not the real frozen flame. Don't even bother with that. I want to ask the general about why he's keeping this frozen flame. And the general's like, did someone say my name? And, General walks in and so does his, like, second in command, Lynx, who is a panther-faced
Wait, hold
man.
on. Second in command?
No.
I got the impression that Lynx was the
Oh, is it
puppeteer
the other
of
way
all
around?
of it, yeah.
Oh, okay. Sorry,
I certainly
didn't
do
know
not
there.
think he is a panther-faced man.
He is a panther face, man. He has a cat face.
Yeah,
Isn't
you
that
see
a
his,
lynx face?
Yeah, he does. His
Okay, a
character
lynx
design
face.
is like a lynx face. He's a kitty cat.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, he's a kitty cat man. And Lynx, and then Kid sees Lynx and goes bonkers. She does not like Lynx. She has some kind of grudge against Lynx that she doesn't super get into.
So hold on, this is where we have to talk about Radical Dreamers, I think, because Lynx, they're like, oh, what are you doing with this girl? Why do you say she's dangerous? And he's like, well, she's a member of the Radical Dreamers thieving club or whatever, and they call her ferocious, and like, I had totally forgot that we had played Radical Dreamers until I heard this line, and then it all came flooding back. So can we talk about Radical Dreamers for a minute?
I didn't play it, so I don't know what you're talking about.
It was basically this mission, wasn't it?
Yeah. It's Viper Mansion and stealing the Frozen Flame, and it's Riddle, and it's Guile, and it's Kid, and Serge, and Lynx is the big bad guy. Wait, so it's literally
this? It's pretty not much, like the thing before this?
No,
it's not the setup to this?
It's just basically it's a text adventure, basically, right? That's like, and it's just like a choose your own adventure kind of thing for breaking into Viper Manor.
But not like the first time, like this mission.
For this thing.
With
it's
Surge.
Like an alternate reality.
That's so fucking stupid.
It's canon-wise, I think it's another reality of this. So it's like a different instance of it happening.
I think it came together. I think like Radical Dreamers was some kind of like, I want to say tech demo, but that's not the right thing. But it was like a concept for a thing written by the guy who did some writing for Chrono Trigger, and then I guess he just got hooked on this whole like Kid Surge Lynx thing, and then he's like, I'm gonna write a whole game about it, and that's what they're like, oh, well, let's do this for the Chrono Trigger sequel, is how I understand it.
Okay.
So Radical Dreamers came first?
Yes.
So you get into a fight there.
That's some Kingdom Hearts shit. This is some proto Kingdom Hearts shit is what it is.
Fight with Radical Dreamers sounds like the name of like if there was a cartoon series and the cartoon characters went to see like a cool band, it would be called Radical Dreamers.
Yeah. Would Radical Dreamers be like the neutral third band in Gem? They're like not the holograms and not the Misfits.
The Misfits, it's the Radical Dreamers.
Who sometimes help out either side. So Kid and Lynx gets into a fight and you join in. After you defeat Lynx, he surrounds you with these cats. These like weird purple cats.
Yeah, and they all like come marching towards you and they're just like meow, meow, meow.
Okay,
meow.
So there's a cutscene here, and I didn't rewatch the game. Where does the cutscene where Serge and Kitty face like alternate? And Serge starts smiling?
It's right here.
Okay, so what? Tell me, I didn't understand this cutscene at all.
So it alludes to a couple things that happen later in the game. So just to kind of recap it, and this is what I remember.
Spoilies.
No, I will not spoil it. I'll just show what happens in the cutscene. But there's Surge's face, there's Lynx's face. There's a shot of some kind of a like building structure on an island. And you like see an effect, and then a black cloud envelops everything. Yeah. And then there's shots of like a knife in somebody's hand. What else is there? I know there's a couple other like quick cuts to different things.
Well, it's just a mishmash.
Yeah,
it's a premonition, perhaps.
I think it's like there's some time like alternate dimension dynamics happening here. But it never explains what this blue item is that triggers Surge's like vision.
Is that the blue thing that was on the desk that wasn't the Frozen Flame?
It is the blue thing on the desk, but the only thing they tell you is that it's not the Frozen Flame.
Right. Okay.
So when I was playing, I was like, "Oh, this is the thing that Guile has to steal." That
would make much more sense.
But yeah, it does. But it's definitely not that thing.
Okay. So you, at this point, Kid Riddle walks in. She's like, oh, sorry for interrupting. But Kid seizes the opportunity to hold her at knife point and then heroically take this young woman at knife point and drag her out to a balcony where.
But she does whisper to Riddle. She's like, it's okay. I'm not going to actually hurt you. Just like play along. It's cool.
Yeah.
And she was like dragging her out, and everyone is following them. Like Commander Viper and Lynx and a whole bunch of soldiers. They're just like 3 feet away. And Kid's like, I'm going to the exit. And they're just like walking along and like, hey, you better stop. No, I'm going. She doesn't say like, don't follow me or else I'll cut her throat.
That's true. So they do follow her, and then I guess Lynx throws like a poison knife, a knife at Kid, and it's about to hit. It turns into this really weird, like they didn't quite have the budget to animate this outside of engine, so it's all in engine.
Very interesting. Like
I liked it.
Wait. So Surge throws the knife at Kid, right?
No, Lynx does.
No. Lynx.
Oh.
So Lynx pulls a knife out, throws it I thought it hit Kid in the chest. And I was like, oh,
I thought it was the arm.
I was like, oh, she's fucking dead. And then it shows like her character model, and she's grabbing her arm and she's like, like favoring it. So I was like, oh, it actually hit her in the arm.
Right.
Yeah. But Kid pushes Riddle out of the way because Riddle is in the knife's path. I guess
Yes.
Lynx was just gonna throw the knife through Riddle to pierce Kid.
I thought this was a Sephiroth Cloud situation. I thought that Lynx mind controlled. Legitimately, I thought Lynx mind controlled Surge into throwing the knife at Kid.
I don't know. Yeah.
I thought, that's what that, thing at the flash forward at the beginning was when we saw, Surge kill Kid and smile about it. I was, Lynx is mind controlling it.
Surge,
but I guess not. So,
once again, Surge's facial expressions are inscrupable to me. I don't know what he's supposed to be emoting.
I mean, they are just like blank expressions of like eyes wide in wonder, and that's it. And you're supposed to take everything away from that.
Yeah. Okay, I've got a question for you. So Riddle is Lord Viper's daughter? Is that right?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
you do, so at this point, Kid does, they're like, well, Kid, you're gonna die, give her up. And Kid's like, oh, I've jumped farther than this. And she jumps off the balcony, then Surge jumps off the balcony, and you land in the water.
She jumped off?
Yeah, didn't she?
No, she gets hit with a knife, and then she, Riddle moves out of the way, she gets hit with a knife, and she kind of stumbles backwards and falls off of the top.
Okay.
And then Surge, it never shows Surge and the other character jumping after her, but Lynx goes. Well, I guess it shows Surge jump off because Lynx goes up to Surge and he's like, I've been waiting so long for you, longer than you can imagine. And then he starts he's like, what would you live for? What would you die for? And then he's like, give me your hand. Gold. And he holds
keep going, Jim.
And then he holds his paw out, and then Surge leaps off of the edge.
Ooh. Yeah, I forgot to mention, in the castle, people are talking about how the guy from Poray is the one who was obsessed with finding Serge, the ghost. And, the guy Karak or whatever his name is. Like,
I think
he seemed like a real boy.
I think I need to readjust my expectations here because every word that you guys say from the original Chrono Trigger just makes me a little bit more mad. Like when you say Poray, that's a big retcon that we'll talk about later. The whole Poray thing is in my opinion probably the biggest betrayal on the original Chrono Trigger is what happens with Poray.
And it's on the original Chrono Trigger. What a nerd.
It's a
betrayal, he says. It's a sequel.
No, it's not.
So, as you're about to fall, Lynx does say that you're a time assassin.
Betrayal. That is a very dramatic word. Betrayal.
The Chrono Trigger.
The Chrono Trigger. He calls you.
Chrono Trigger.
Me, assassin
Get the
of
fuck
time.
out of here.
Chrono Trigger.
And you do fall into the water, and you're fine. Kid seems fine too, but you do kind of, I guess, collapse after falling in the water.
does tell you that if you had hit the rocks instead of the water, you'd be dead.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
Kirch is just hanging out there in his boat, which I guess makes sense for the path where you had Kircha take you there, but didn't really make sense for my path. He was just good thing I was here, right here, outside this manor.
Hanging out by Viper Manor where I'm trespassing.
Yeah.
He does take you up to Matcha's house, who is his mom. And she says, your friends are fine. They're all waiting for you outside. But you go outside.
Can I talk? So there's a part right here when you wake up and it's just Surge and the menu pops open.
Mm-hmm.
If you have Kid in your party here, the menu pops open so that you can unequip her
I didn't
equipment
realize
here
that.
and also remove all of her elements. I did not do that. So
neither
some
did
of
I.
my best fucking elements are sitting with
Yeah.
Kid, who's
Ice Blast is on there.
That sucks. I wish it would have said something, but it just pops a menu open and you're supposed to
It
know.
does give you a shop pretty soon that allows you to rebuy all those
But
elements.
Not
yes,
Ice
you have
Blast.
to- no,
You don't get Ice
yes,
Blast.
she has one of my Ice Blasts, and I was like, I can't get that back. That
I've bought
sucks.
2 more Ice Blasts.
No way.
You
Where?
Sure?
Mhm.
I haven't seen any yet. I've
I've
seen
got
the ice.
The Ice
The
Lance.
other one.
The Ice Lance, but not the
The
Ice
Ice
Blast.
Lance. You're right. You're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
Ice
you're right,
Blast
you're
is the
right.
one that immobilizes
I have
enemies.
2
By the way-
Ice Blasts. One is with Surge, one is on Kid. Can't get the one from Kid.
By the way, I saw you, Vanessa. I saw you.
So, you go up to, you leave the house. Kid is not fine. She's like, it takes more than a stab.
Yeah, she does.
And she collapses. You go to the doctor's house. The doctor is a beefcake stud Fabio doctor who's wearing like a flame striped, set of scrubs.
That's interesting. To me, he was a real, like, bro, like, real gnarly, like, fucking cool doctor. He looked like a stoner doctor. Like, he's got a beanie on. He's got,
Who's
like,
Flavortown? What's the
he's
name
not
of-
Guy Fieri.
Well, but his costuming is like if Guy Fieri was a doctor.
I don't think so. I think his costuming is like if the guy that runs your local pot shop was a doctor, to be honest with you. Like, he's like a real herbalist, if you know what I mean.
The doctor's like, yeah, she's been poisoned. This is a pretty rough poison that's going on here. The only thing that'll cure her is Hydra humors, and it so happens that they've been hunted to extinction in El Nido. So, what are you guys gonna do? And then Harley shows up, and she's like, bonjour. I just wanted to talk a little shit. Is that okay? Just a petit bit of shit. And then Corch is like, I hate you. I'm gonna kill you. She's like, oh, just try it. And so he does, and she disappears and goes, oopsies.
Well, she clearly is very jealous of Kid. I said this in the last episode. You were asking if Leanne was the romantic lead, and I said I think it's probably Kid. And this seems to pretty much confirm it, that, like, she's already, before anything's even happened, you've got Harley Quinn trying to break that relationship up.
Kid gives you the astral amulet. She's like, I'm gonna have to rest for a little while longer, so take that. And now it's your time to choose. Are you going to try and figure out a way to impossibly get out of the archipelago and get to mainland or something else to get one of these Hydra humors? Or do you not know what to do? And these are 2 paths that go on for a few hours, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So I chose, I don't know what to do.
And I chose to help her.
All right. What happens if you choose to help her?
If you choose to help her, you can go and chat with the shaman of this village, and he talks about going back to the place where this began, where angels weep. And I was like, okay, well, I don't know about angels, but I remember being on the beach when I went into this alternate world, so I'll go back there. So I went back to the beach, and there's a little green spot on the ground. And you take the astral amulet and utilize it, and you can travel back to your home world.
Oh.
So did you, here you can go back and get Lucia. Did you guys go get Lucia?
I did, but I'm on a different path, but yes.
I did not,
but I stopped here because my plan is to get Lucia. So by next week, I will have picked her up.
That's really interesting and we didn't talk about it, but in Viper Manor, if you go talk to the cooks who are working in the kitchen, One of them is like this really nervous guy who's obviously collecting information and very bad about hiding it.
Yes.
And if you go back to Viper Manor and go to the lab, he's in the cage that you triggered when you stole the necklace.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no.
And you let him out, and he's like, "No, I definitely wasn't snooping around or anything. I just got lost. Ha ha ha. Okay, bye."
Gotta go. Yeah, he just bolts out of there.
Yeah.
When I went to go find Lucia, unfortunately, the Pip was not there. But anyway, Vanessa, so that's where you left off?
Sure. I mean, there's a lot more. I just don't know how much we'll
talk about it
going
next
into.
time.
Okay. Yeah, so I have traveled back to my homeworld.
And that's where I left off as well.
All right. Well, so Korcha got furious at me because he's like, "This is your partner, your friend. You're going to let her die." And I'm like, "I'm sorry. I just don't know what to do." He takes the amulet back from you and puts on the dresser. He's like, "You're not good enough to have this amulet. You suck." And he just gets super pissed at you. You can try to talk to him again in his house and, ask for help for using his boat. And he's like, "No, I'm not giving you my boat. You suck. You're just going to use it to do stupid things." And then his mom walks in, Matcha, and she's like, "Well, look, he didn't say that he's not going to help her. He said he didn't know how to help her. And I think that, we can figure out how to help her. You know, she's still alive. There's still a hope. So how about I go with you and we'll figure out a way to help this kid." So, she does join the party. She is, also uses a spoon just like Lena does. You can talk to the shaman who's talking about how you're like kind of this dimensional drift. There was something Lynx mentioned before about, what was it? Astral Exclusiaris or Angelus Exclusiarum.
Yeah, what is it? When angels don't know
like
what to
are
do
lost.
or something? Yeah. Lose their way. That's what it is. When angels lose their way.
Oh, I think
And
I
they
said
like
when angels
repeat
weep,
the line
but it
here
is
like
lose their
they
way.
think that it's like, I don't know, really deep and not just fucking obnoxious nonsense.
Well, I think that's what the green spot is that Vanessa found.
Yes, that's where angels lose their way.
So there's two shamans, and there's like a lady shaman, and there's another shaman, and they all kind of give you some little tips. You can there's some items you can steal. You can steal a green tickler. You can get it given to you.
You don't steal it.
Yeah, the dwarf gives it to you. The dwarves in this game are terrifying. They are 90% noses.
Nose. I actually kind of like it. You know, that's a fun design.
Yeah, no, they're very 70s. There are a lot of characters like that in like 70s alt comics and stuff.
That's weird.
You can also steal Mel's dress. Mel is Korcha's little sister. You can get a dress and then put it on the girls. It's just an armor item that's pretty good.
Is that not weird that they're just dwarves?
Yeah. I don't know.
There's also
Don't be
there were dwarves in Chrono
speciesist.
Trigger, weren't there? And
No,
there's also
they were just
there
monsters.
definitely were, and there also are and this game
They were.
I actually
They just called them monsters.
I also really like that.
Jim is upset that enough progress has been made that we don't just call dwarves monsters anymore.
But like, why wouldn't you try to tie it into Chrono Trigger more? This is a Chrono Trigger sequel.
What they do tie into Chrono Trigger is I can't remember what they call them. What do they call the like monster people?
Imps.
The like half animal
Oh, the demi-humans?
demi-humans. I like that because wasn't that the like evil army that they were raising in Chrono Trigger that you like stopped from destroying the land? Were the demi-humans?
No,
so now
they
this
weren't.
is
They weren't demi-humans in Chrono Trigger.
This is presumably shut the fuck up, Jim.
They
This
weren't.
is presumably years later.
They weren't.
Because it's a fucking sequel to Chrono Trigger. It's presumably years after that shit happened, and like the demi-humans are just kind of part of society, but they also have their own, like in one of these towns, you talk to some of them, they're like, "Oh, we actually have our own places where it's all demi-human cities, and they fucking hate humans." And I'm like, "Yep, that also makes a lot of sense."
You guys are having to invent a whole fucking backstory for this. If the game wanted you to know it, why didn't it tell you?
Because it's a slow reveal. It's like season 1 of Westworld.
I guess we'll
Just
find
go
out how
with
much
it.
we learn as we go.
Because it's a fucking 90s Final Fantasy where it's a Final Fantasy game, Jim. It's a Final Fantasy game. More than Chrono Trigger, this is a fucking Final Fantasy
Here's
game.
my problem
where
with this
they
game.
just drip feed you information and it's all like super dramatized, melodramatic bullshit.
Stop
like every
fighting.
Final
Stop
Fantasy
fighting.
game.
Here's my I just
We're not
want to
fighting.
say, here's my problem with this game. It doesn't
Sweetie, we're not
make me.
fighting.
It
Okay?
doesn't make
It's
me
okay.
feel
Go back to
good
bed.
like
It's okay.
Chrono
Mommy
Trigger
and Dad,
makes
you're
me
not
feel
fighting.
good.
We're just talking very loudly.
So I go to Termina, and there I meet Glenn. And Glenn is he needs to get to Fort Dragonia. He's got his own thing that he's doing. He thanks you again for the bellflowers that you gave him in Riddle earlier. And he will join us because we have a boat. And Matcha also wants to join us. And I talked to Greco in Termina, who is a big wrestler, man. And he's you get there and he's just like launching the boat with his dead son on it. And he's real sad about his son's death. And then you follow him back to his house.
Son? I thought he was just like the graveyard keeper.
No, I thought it was his son, and then his daughter's there, and she's like, "Well, Graz or whatever his name is would really want you to go join these guys because they're on a quest, and you could really help them because you're big and strong, Dad. You go join them." Or at least maybe it's just his sister.
I didn't pick up on these familial relationships at all.
Well, definitely the little girl is related to the dead boy for sure. And I thought they were his children, but maybe not. She says, "I'll be fine. Go join them." So Greco joins my party because he feels like he could do good by joining you all. And he is a large wrestler. So of course I'm going to, and his special attack is that he clotheslines the enemies. It's great and does a lot of damage. So I joined him. And then I found some skelly parts by exploring some of the other paths that I could have taken to Viper Manor. And that's about it. Next time, Jim, where are we going to play to next time?
Ooh, good question. I don't know. Let's take a look.
We could finish Fort Dragonia, or there's like right after that, there's this weird time nexus thing.
I don't know
I
how
feel like
long anything
finishing
is,
very
so like it's hard
tiny
for me
while-
to
I
know.
know how long things are. I have played to almost the end of Fort Dragonia, and I think the end of Fort Dragonia would be a good place to stop.
Okay.
All right. We've got like a week and a half this time, team. So let's try to really get it done early. Right, Jim and John?
Yep, let's keep playing PUBG and then playing Chrono Cross the morning of our recording.
It's a real problem. I would have gotten the scientist lady and made it to the end, except Jim and John were fucking messaging me going, "Let's play PUBG though. Let's play PUBG. Let's play PUBG. Does anybody want to play PUBG?"
No, that was Jim. I said I'd join you because you said you were playing, so. That's not how it happened, Matt. Before we go, I have a little corner. Matt, why don't you introduce it?
I don't want to sing you a song now. You were just very mean to me. You contradicted me in front of our entire family. How dare you contradict me in front of the children?
Vanessa, could you
I'm
sing
sorry,
me?
I'm kidding. I would like to sing the song, please.
Okay.
John's bullshit minigame corner!
John's bullshit minigame corner.
There is some dragon feeding.
Give it, John. Do it, Jim. John,
And
do your own rendition, John. Do your own rendition.
John's bullshit mini game corner.
No, see, that's you can't layer that over the other three and make a track out of it.
Oh, sorry. So there
Could have
is
been the hot track of the summer. Is all I'm saying.
there is dragon feeding. It took me a little while to figure out exactly how this one worked because they're turning red. Some of them are crying. Some of them won't eat.
I definitely failed it the first time. So
I don't know how I passed it the one time. I literally just mashed the buttons.
So you can hold 3 foods in your inventory. There are 5 dragons. You have to go through each stall to feed them and then go back to the food thing to get more food. You have to wait till they start asking for food. They'll go rah, rah. Then you feed them, and then you go to the next one. You want to keep all of them fed, so they turn more red the more times you didn't feed them.
They get so mad.
They get mad if you don't feed them. So what you want to do is keep them happy by feeding them when they're hungry, and then restocking your food.
it's getting one mad 3 times that ends a game.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And there's a level of red that they turn. So, you can do it up to 100 times. I did it 40. I definitely did it 40 and got the the heal all spell.
That
and
heal
was good.
all. So, if I would have had the heal all, the heal all plus the revive, and element with Surge would have saved me so much anguish in the next dungeon.
Right. I almost wouldn't put Revive on Surge because he gets hit. Seems to be the main target of everyone's attacks, so you might want to put it on the not Surge. Just
but like,
to bring him back.
my other characters die more often.
He does have low HP though.
For like in my playthrough, he has really good HP, but he also has the highest defense. And so, like, if there was a character that would presumably die last, just statistically, you'd think it would be Surge, right?
Okay.
Everyone dies before Surge for me, but maybe it's because I know he has Revive and I take good care of him.
Yeah, me too. So, like, I put Revive on him, but if I would have had the heal all too, that would have saved me a lot of anguish.
We have an email, Jim.
An email? Oh, we do have an email.
Oh, actually, sorry, Squarely Against.
Squarely Against, okay.
It's your show, you host.
Okay, so for Squarely Against, I'm going to go first this time.
Is it his show? I thought it was our show.
No, this is Jim's show. It's Jim and Pals.
He's not even here most of the time.
I've been on the least amount of episodes, technically, probably. So for Squarely Against, I'll lead us off this time, because it's my show. I will say that in the basement of Viper Manor, every time you let your characters walk in the middle of the hallway, you would get almost these random battles with these, like, whirly-wisp things. Fuck that.
They always fell out of the sky at the same spot. It happened to me every time.
And it sucked. But like, if you hug the top or the bottom of the hallways, they don't drop down. So
you are walking onto literal targets painted onto the carpet when you do that.
Really?
Oh, I didn't see the targets.
There's little crosshairs.
Oh,
I mean,
it's so stupid.
Don't feel stupid, because it is fucking like garbage on the screen. It's a fucking it's blurry mess.
Yeah, it's not well rendered.
You can't see what's happening.
Like, but that was like, I enjoy the combat generally in this game, but when it comes at a seemingly random time like that, I fucking hate it.
I will say this, if I can. John has ruined this game for me, because now that I know that I gain nothing from the combat unless it's like within a few battles of a boss fight, I don't ever want to have to get in a fight in this game again. This game just turned into avoid every fucking fight I can, the game.
So yeah, that's what I'm squarely against. Vanessa, what about you?
I'm squarely against that boat kid. We touched on it a little bit. He has no pants. It's very upsetting. Nobody wants to hang around with a boat kid with no pants on. And he's rude and crude, which is my least favorite kind of character. It just seems lazy or something. I don't know. It just, I've talked about before. I have this trauma from the 80s when everyone thought that Raphael was the best Ninja Turtle. There's no reason to get all into it, but...
Hang on. Have you talked about that before?
Don't be rude and crude. Be, like, intelligent like Donatello, or kind like Mikey, or responsible like Leonardo. I'm squarely against Raphael. Matt, what are you squarely against?
I'm roundly for the combat. Wow, wow, wow. You're a bunch of negative noodles. I have enjoyed the combat in this game. It's fun. It's good. It's easy to make the fights go super duper fast, which is, as I always say, my number one priority. Johnny, what are you squarely against?
I am roundly for the special attacks everyone has. Each one is delightful, like from Poshul to Lena. Everyone's got fun ones.
John, does each character have their own?
I think so. I'm not 100%
so?
sure.
I have collected so few characters that I didn't realize that.
Yeah, I do believe that everyone has their own.
That's awesome.
Yeah. All right, Jim, move on.
All right. Well, let's see. What else do we got here?
We got a message.
Where is it?
It's highlighted.
It's in squarely against. I thought that was squarely against text. All right, so we do have a message. This one comes from our Patreon. We didn't copy over the name of the.
I can tell it to you.
The name of the
He
sender.
has his name in the name is in the message.
It was Girth something, right?
The name is in the message.
It's for what it's girth. It was girth all the while.
Is in the message.
Can you say that again, John?
It's right there in the PS, and I can see the name.
For what it's girth, it was girth all the while. Or is that the name of the message?
We'll say, Dear SR Cadre, thank you for the hours and hours of entertainment over the years. I've been enjoying this season quite a bit and wanted to keep up the good work. P.S.
He does mean last season.
I was only slightly upset when Matt announced my name as Jehovah's Witness instead of Jehovah's Wetness on the most recent episode.
Way to go, Matt.
My apologies. I did catch myself the following week and say it properly.
Speaking of saying people's names, we got a
Hey.
Patreon.
Yay!
What's that Patreon all about?
Patreon all about helping us make the podcast. If you have some extra bucks, throw them our way. And not just for free, we'll give you some good bonus content for it. For $3 a month, you can access all of our bonus content. That's over 40 bonus episodes of varying quality. And
Some of them are good.
some of them are good.
You know
And,
what? Listen to them all. Find the good ones.
Yeah, it's up to you to listen to them all and discover which ones are good and which ones are not.
I think Quiet Man, Detroit Become Human, and Would You Eat This Bird? are
Quiet
the
Man
best.
is probably one of my favorite recording experiences of all time. I
Detroit
think.
Became Human was also a delight.
That was
and
good.
also, you're leaving out a huge favorite, which is Hatful Boyfriend.
Oh yes,
Oh, yeah.
Haddle and the Captain Marvel.
Captain
Is that one
Marvel
popular,
episode
or do
is
we just
great.
like that one
I
because
think
we're
we
assholes?
just like that one.
Yeah, sometimes I'm just like sitting around alone at night and I'm like, we played the Quiet Man, and I just start laughing. And for $5 a month, you get all that bonus content. Plus, when we open up the floor for votes, you get to vote on which game we play next on the show. It's not every game. Sometimes we choose for ourselves, but sometimes we let you choose. And at any level, you get the very best perk of all, your name read on the show. And the names will be read now, beginning with Matt.
We would like to thank Inside Story and Chrono Cross both involve beating enemies with a swallow.
It's true.
Cyril the Wolf. Sexy Grandma's boy toy is Stu Skeel. That's true.
Oh,
I challenge the other Tracy to a duel to the pain. Robert J. Defendi, Ron, Jordan McNeil, Alexander Jokic, Sean, Jameson, Joshua Bennett, that one guy. I don't like Stan. He's coarse, rough, and irritating, and he gets everywhere.
Hello, Stan.
Chris Wilder, Lubu Flaba, Play Mother 3 or quit now, frauds. We're frauds. Chris Pignac, Michael Crawford, Armin Hammer, Grayson, Reddit is Harold Lauder, G. Bailey, Ethan G. Pearson, Brian Pitt, D. Jethro, Jason Timms, Matthew Newland, Christopher Highness, Jonathan Smith, Gren is the Chrono Cross MVP. I'll keep that in mind. And Sean Walsh.
I will say that QAing today's episode, which by the way was really good. I noticed what a strain it is when one of us misses and you guys have to split the names 3 ways.
Oh, you did notice that,
I did
huh?
notice that, so I'll try not
maybe
to do
keep that in mind in the future.
It just seemed to go on forever. All right, so it's my turn. I will start with Everyday's Great in Bowser's Guts. Robert M. Paulum, Megan Sullivan. For what it's girth, it was girth all the while. It's a me, Vorio. Tom, Bree Girth. Tawan Gordon. Vanessa's Gold Taco Bell PS5. Matt
love you.
Jorgensen. Chief Hazard Built. Chili's, Baby Back Mario. Nathan
I want my
Poirot.
baby
Jim
back,
Banks
baby
is
back,
actually
baby back.
Anthony
I want my baby back, baby back, baby back. I want my baby back, baby
Raniere
back,
in
baby back.
hiding from the pandemic in Texas.
What?
Who's Anthony Raniere?
Hold on.
I don't know.
Can we Google that real quick?
Sure.
Anthony Raniere. Anthony Raniere is an
Anthony
American
Raniere
singer,
teeth?
guitarist, and songwriter who is a founder and lead vocalist of the American alternative rock band Bayside.
A little, yeah, okay. Some of these, that one of him turning to the side, I can see it.
Oh,
There's
I'm
one
not
of him-
looking at images. I just clicked on the Wikipedia
I'll put it in
one.
the chat real fast. Then we move on. Oh,
Yeah,
there's a dwarf.
I'm looking at the one that you're looking at too. And
I can sort of see it.
Okay.
yeah, at that particular angle, but straight on, no.
No.
All right.
I don't see it at all.
All right, so Hudson Roth, Vanessa's mom, the RPG luminary, David Shook, Justin Rash, Alex Dullard, Tyler Petty, Citrus C, Andres Rivera, Saving Sid, Wash in the Wind, Andy M, Jake Dickerson, Sean Gonzalez, Don't Blame Me, I voted for Fable, Sergeant Spaghetti, Andrew O, William Westgard, Andy Best, Question Vanessa, is T Bumpkins a kink and is it upsetting? Devin Sloan, Eric Gar.
Cameron Shoei, Dr. Fine, Say Everyone's Name, Samu Mitchell, Wonderswan, Stephen Paget, Benjamin Avner. Oh my god, what is this game, Ward Childress? Wedge Coon, My Cat's Breath Smells Like Cat Food, Jonathan Ellsworth, David Green, Huxley Iguana, everyone's favorite host is obviously Bim Jenks, agree to disagree, Hexagon, John Loves to Spoil Games Brandon, Hales, Chris Ryan, Ross Hartley, Andy Smith, Matthew Casterline, Isaac Wright, Mary Queen of Scoffs, Robert T., Aaron Bachman, Race Jenkins, Grey Code, Ari Kopivara, Laryl of the Claryl, Kenny Sloth, Ryan Miller, Jared Collins, It's Peanut Butter Jelly Time, Peanut Butter Jelly Time, Kafor, K1, and J4, Florian Jonas Kramer.
Sam Harrison, Ome wa mu shinderu, Kiva Moser, Tracy, I hope I didn't say anything offensive. Tracy, Listen Up, Scoot Stains Knopford, Paul Birch, Soy Soda Pop, Andrew Leinart, Bowser's West Side Story. You gotta change that. Patrick Loves Bears, Joseph, Mr. Mallard, You Make Sulk Sad, TJ Miller's Horny Grandma Impersonation. Vanessa yelled at me to change the name. Cassandra, David Pascal, Adam Zimmerman, still just Faux Schul's terrifying expression. Joshua W. Broxson, Vanessa's fourth mom, Justin Ham, PJ Enns, George Brady, Metal Gear Solid 1 2021, Amanda Douglas, Mostly Rational Person, Robot in Greece, Gage La Charité, Dan, Miguel Torres, Christian Go, and Kevin Walter.
All right, everyone, that's it for this episode of Square Roots. Please send us an email. We are squarerootspodcast@gmail.com. Come see us at our Facebook group, the Square Roots Podcast Group for smart, cool, very attractive people. Or you can tweet at us. We are at Square Roots Pod. By the way, the theme for this series is awesome.
It is
who's
fucking
the artist
awesome.
again?
It is. It's
I'm writing
rad.
it in.
Yeah. It is.
Okay.
It's so good.
Oh, okay. Thanks to Richard EB for their cover of Scars of Time and letting us use it. You can check them out on youtube.com/RichardEB.
Maybe
or
you
at
should spell that out. RICHAADEB.
and on Twitter as RICHAAEB. AADEB and patreon.com/RICHAADEB. And don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe on iTunes or wherever you listen to podcasts.
All right, everyone. For Square Roots, I am Jim Banks.
I'm Matthew Van Zant.
I'm Johnny Long Record Brandon.
And I'm Vanessa.
Could have been worse.
Bye.
was just thinking this afternoon about how it's just a crime that Alan Tudyk isn't a bigger star, and I feel like
is
with
Jim
everything
drumming?
he's
Is
done
somebody
for
drumming?
us,
Yeah, Jim's drumming.
Jim's doing like finger drums.
I'm not moving my hands. I'm
We
not
all
moving
know.
my hands. I'm not
We
moving
all,
my hands.
we all
We all
knew
saw
what was
you.
going on.
I wasn't moving my hands.
I could see your body moving.
I was moving my legs.
He was. John did it. This was happening.
Yeah, he was working his what's that called? Kickstand. Yeah.
I apologize, Vanessa, for interrupting you.
I was just saying that with all that Alan Tudyk has done for us, I feel like we owe him more. And listeners, think about what you can do for Alan Tudyk this week.